Hi everyone, it's Rob Green here from Green Benefits Group, and I've got my two partners here with me, Melanie Porter and Keaton Turkowitz. And today we're going to have a little bit of conversation regarding travel insurance. Travel insurance is absolutely a product that keeps us up at night sometimes when you hear horror stories in the news about claims not getting paid or people not getting the right coverage. And we wanted to simplify a lot of the myths and making sure people properly understand their travel insurance.
Yeah, absolutely. Every benefit plan does include travel coverage for yourself and any dependents that are covered under your benefits as well. So just a little bit about understanding what's covered, what types of expenses are covered, if you should pay attention to any travel advisories, that sort of thing are the questions that we get asked most often.
So for the government advisories, what that would be is any restrictions that were put on. If Health Canada came out with a travel advisory, an example of that would be a couple of years ago when Hurricane Irma was coming through the Caribbean and into South Florida, there was a travel advisory not to travel to, for an example, Dominican Republic. What that means is that OHIP will not pay should someone travel to those countries. So a lot of times what we see is people would know they have travel insurance through their employer. They would think that they would have coverage going down south. What people have to understand though is their coverage through their plan sponsor is always second payer. So what we try to tell people and what we want to ensure and make very clear is that if there is a travel advisory, people will be traveling down to these places without coverage. So make sure that there isn't a travel ban on before traveling to these places.
Yeah, those are great points, Keaton. And a lot of times too, you hear, just to dovetail that conversation, there was a claim a couple years ago from a lady out west, and she was pregnant and she went to Hawaii, and she went into premature labor, and her baby was really sick and she was really sick. And what all travel insurance wants to do is once somebody's medically stable, they want to bring you back to Ontario and let the government OHIP programs pay for it, as an example. Well, she was unstable and she wasn't able to be traveled back. In the course of 30 days, by the time she was her and her baby, who ended up being okay, were able to come back to Canada, the bill hit close to $1 million. And the insurance company declined the claim. And the papers went nuts. And everybody's like, oh, look at big insurance companies, that are trying to screw this poor new mother and her child who are extremely sick while they're in Hawaii. We're partners in a national benefit company, and without breaking privacy information, we were able to gather a lot of information regarding the claim. And we determined that the insurance company was right. And why they were right is she was advised to not travel for medical reasons prior to leaving. And it's so important to understand your contract. Now, I'll tell you, in that scenario, I know the insurance company ended up paying a significant part of that claim just due to the situation.
And the media attention.
And the media attention, absolutely. So that's important of understanding a stability clause as an example.
Absolutely. Also to know that travel insurance covers unforeseen medical emergencies. It doesn't provide coverage for anything pre-existing that was going on. If you have a condition that you spoke to your doctor about, or if you had gone for any blood work or anything like that, and then while you're away, something were to arise as a result of that pre-existing condition, there would be no coverage for that. So it's anything that arises unexpectedly while you are away. That's when the travel coverage under your benefit plan would take effect.
And if you have any questions with pre-existing conditions, always seek medical advice. Go see your doctor before. If you've recently changed medications or anything like that, go in, make sure that your doctor approves you to travel so that your travel insurance would be valid.
Great point. Yeah, because we always like to talk about too that surprises are for birthdays, they're not for insurance. One of the other things that we've been able to help a lot of people with, or if with some clients and their parents that are traveling, or every group contract, or if you go out and buy, CAA insurance or insurance through the bank, you have what's called, or your credit card. Credit card scares me. Speaking of credit cards, I don't. Raise your hand if you actually read that new credit card agreement you get in the mail. I think I'm the only nerd that reads it. And specifically, a lot of times when credit cards send you something new, they've changed the definitions and contract to travel insurance because they've paid out a big claim and they're going, geez, we won't pay that out again. So that's usually those where contracts have been changed. One of the things that if people are worried about that 90-day stability and you're going to be traveling, we've partnered with an organization, one of the travel insurance leaders in Canada, that offers short-term stability clause, right, Mel?
Yep. They're called To-Go Insurance. So if you're ever in doubt, or if you've had a recent procedure or recent medical tests that have come back, we always have an option that includes a 7-day stability. So as long as nothing within your medical circumstances changed with the 7 days leading up to your trip, we can get coverage for that. Finally, it's always important to travel with your benefit provider card. So usually you will have a one card or that plastic card that you're given as being an employee of the benefit plan. Also, you can use the mobile app and save it to your phone. But on that card is the 1-800 number that you would need in the event of emergency. So if something were to happen while you're away, just be sure to call that number first, as they'll be your first point of contact to direct you what hospital or clinic to go to ensure that you won't be out of pocket for any expenses.
And sometimes, depending where you're traveling the world, you can often see it happens in the Caribbean. As an example, potentially simple one where someone might have gotten food poisoning, you go see a doctor at the resort, the bill might be $200 and they might want cash. They might not want to deal with the insurance company because it's a small claim. Just make sure you get a very detailed, itemized, broken down summary that you can submit when you come back to Canada. The difficult part, if it's something that's written on a piece of paper or it's not legible, then it might be tough from that standpoint to deal with the insurance company. But you often might find that, but you're absolutely right, Mel. As soon as you can, always present that card first and let the insurance company deal with it. Probably a good closing point too. If you need to seek medical attention, call that 1-800 number first before going to any old clinic. Based on a lot of the insurance companies' records and their agreements with providers around the world, a lot of times they will recommend to go to a certain hospital or healthcare provider in that city or that country over others. So it's always a great point. And then the second thing they can do is they can open a claim right away for you, notify the hospital that you're coming, and then they can interact directly. And because it's definitely an area that can cause people a lot of stress, knowing that if you have to go seek medical attention in other countries.
It also helps with language barriers as well. So you're not left trying to communicate with the hospital what's happening or making sure you're getting the right information back. Just let the insurance carrier handle it for you.
We want to thank you for listening for today. If you got any questions, absolutely speak with your HR manager regarding your travel insurance product. Please call your insurance company. And as always, we're always available to answer any questions that you have. Thanks for listening and look forward to future podcasts with you.